Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is very interesting to observe that colleagues is discussing Indonesia in front of the ambassador of Indonesia. It won't happen in the past. For example, in the years 80, if you discuss about Indonesia, especially in a negative way or a bit negative way, then the ambassador must leave the room. But now, I enjoy it very much. People discussing about Indonesia because I trust that behind everything, people always has the positive energy about Indonesia, especially it is coming from the Dutch, because I do believe that deep in your heart, you love Indonesia. Is that right? Ladies and gentlemen, 5th of July 2014, if you pass in front of the embassy of Indonesia, you will see Indonesians were queuing in front of the embassy of Indonesia. Why? That is the day of the election, presidential election. Here, we did it in the 5th of July, while in Indonesia, we did it on the 9th of July. It took about 3 hours for Indonesians starting from the queue until reaching the booth to execute their right to elect, to vote who will be the president of Indonesia. It touched me a lot. My community, my Indonesian, they wanted to stay for 3 hours to wait until reaching the booth to vote who will be their choice to be Indonesian president. That is the first time in the Indonesian history that people really feel involved in the election, the presidential election. When the discussion about the Pilkada, the local election, as mentioned by colleagues, happened, I was in Indonesia. Personally, I was also surprised with the discussion. But at the same time, I observe also that people, the power of the people looks very obvious. Immediately, people say that that is not the choice of the people, because most of the Indonesian people remains wanted to have the direct election. So, my point is that, after all, people is in the center of everything. People is in the center of democracy. And I do believe on the people, on the power of the people. And I think the president-elect who will be inaugurated as the president of the Republic of Indonesia, the 7th president, will carry the message of the people that never play with the interests of the people. Because again, the power is on the people's hand. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm standing here as an ambassador of Indonesia, relatively young, and I represented also the modern female Indonesian. I could not imagine that at my age now, I'm standing here as the ambassador of the Republic of Indonesia to the Kingdom of the Netherlands. It is very prestigious post for Indonesia, and it is one of the biggest missions Indonesia has abroad. And I'm the fact that I am the first female ambassador of Indonesia in the Netherlands. I was born after all the wars ended. So I observed or I understand the colonial period only from books. I never encounter that period. Only, on top of the books, I only listen it from my grandparents told us, my parents told us about that period. The very interesting part is that when my grandparents, whenever they want to, it's not quarrel, but maybe get angry, immediately they spoke Dutch. And luckily, because as the young generation, we don't know Dutch. So whatever the grandparents said about us, we don't know that. So that is just one story about the history that I did not encounter. I observed it from the books. I heard from my grandparents and parents. I arrived in the Netherlands in January 2012. So I've been here for almost 3 years. In my diplomatic environment, when you talk about Indonesia and the Netherlands, people always mention that we have a special bond with the Netherlands. We have a special relation with the Netherlands. And then when I ask, what sort of the special relation that you have with the Dutch? Is it because of the history? Is it all? And then I said that, okay, we are special because of our history. But we have also the responsibility, or we have the challenge to make it special if we are able to fill or to develop cooperation that is very beneficial for the two countries. Then we can say that we remain special. Do we go to that direction? The special relation between Indonesia and the Netherlands in the current context? As an ambassador, and I'm very glad that Rob Swartbout is here, as the next ambassador of the Netherlands to Jakarta. I'm very glad to say that, yes, we are going to the direction of having or maintaining the special relation between our two countries. The visit of the Prime Minister November last year is one of the milestones between in our bilateral relation with the Netherlands, because we launched together the comprehensive partnership between Indonesia and the Netherlands. Ladies and gentlemen, a week ago, I was in Jakarta. And whenever I met people, colleagues from the ministry or from the institution, I often hear or received question, is there any possibility if we have collaboration with the KIT-LV? It seems that KIT-LV is very popular in Indonesia. So everybody talks about KIT-LV. Then I had to start explaining then about this library that we introduced officially today. So I explained everything about the process, and then there are so many interests to have the future cooperation with this library, with Leiden University, etc., etc., Indonesia, etc. So I'm very glad to be here to observe or to witness the hub of the Indonesian collection in Leiden, in the Netherlands, and I'm sure that this library could also provide a bridge between Indonesia and the Netherlands. I talked with Mr. Adrian that as an ambassador, of course, your duty is to bridge the two countries, yes, but I need also many bridges to really make our relation closer. And I think the library provide another bridge to Indonesia and the Netherlands. So I thank you very much, congratulations, and really looking forward to have a better and closer relation between Indonesia and the Netherlands. Thank you.